You're listening to the What the Elf Was That podcast, an iconoclastic look at the latest Cleveland Browns news. The What the Elf Was That podcast is part of the Fanatical Elves podcast network, a part of the Fans First Sports Network. Here's your host, Joel Cade.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of What the Elf Was That? It's been a little bit for me because my headset broke. And you know how much money we're making, John. We're making all kinds of money doing this. So it took me a while to get another headset in the situation. But eventually,
so good to see you, Joel.
That's good to see you. But, my opinions have not faltered. It's just I haven't been on here to talk about these things. And with me today is John Suchan. John, tell us about yourself.
Oh, well, I'm part of the Fanatical Elves Network like you, and I was on the Browns Blitz last night, actually, with Rod Bloom and his brother Jeff, and we were joking about how, I seem to be on several different shows here on the network, and so I'm glad that Joel is back up and running with What the Elf Was That, so I'm love to be the sidekick for Joel.
You're more like the network. You are the network.
Well, let me tell you, Joel, too. So I have guys at work that I work with. Shout out to the Licking Heights staff, and special shout out to Tyler Hennon, my assistant principal, who has been very upset or jealous, or I don't know how you would describe it, that he's wanted to do a show just with me. There's an exclusive one-on-one show here with the Johnny Cleveland Show. So, but in the meantime, he was eager to get started with his own podcasting. So he and my colleague Kelly, they are starting their own podcast because they love podcasting now. They've watched us on the Fanatical Elves Network so much that they just had a blast, and they want to do better. So
awesome. So hey, let's get into the Cleveland Browns. I was watching that last game of the Cleveland Browns. I believe who did we get trounced by? I forget. I actually literally forget who was the last team that trounced us. But anyway, before the break,
who was it? Now I know the Patriots. It's always the
Patriots trounced us. Okay, yeah, that's after Mike Vrabel was like, well, once they stop their gadget plays, play defense. So I was talking to my son during the middle of all this. I always watch these games with my son, and he has to put up with me. And I'm looking at him like, our offense is so stupid. It's like somebody sat down with a spreadsheet and then printed up a spreadsheet. These are the most successful plays these are the most successful running plays in the NFL last year. And then beside it these are the most successful passing plays against the NFL last year. Then they just put them on that Denny's menu, and that's what he calls. None of it works together. None of it works together. You can line up in a certain formation. And I just look at my son like, yeah, they're going to run the ball to the right. And it's gotten to the point where a year ago, he's like, Dad, how do you know this stuff? And now we sit there and he looks at me and he's like, all right, this formation, they're throwing this passing route. And that's exactly what they do. I'm like, look, dude, you and I should not be at home just calling out the plays based on the formation. I mean, it's like a joke. Okay, they got 3 out to the bottom of the screen. One's going to go across to see if there's man or zone, and then they'll come back in that short motion. Then they'll run their route. We're like play-by-playing this thing. If they go in motion, it's going to be this play. If they don't go in motion, it's going to be this play. That's how much Browns we've watched, but it's also just how predictable this crap is. So anyway, I'm going to let you have a chance to comment on that because
I think you're
I was
onto
frustrated
something.
going into the bye week.
No, I think you're onto a lot of things. It's been funny too, because having this bye week and then being on the show last night with Rod and just reflecting on some of these things, because we see you bring the reality back to it, Joel. I love the fact that you just speak it as it is. It's football 101, and you are just dissecting it. If you just, listening to you talk about this, it makes a lot of sense about what we're seeing out there. And yet there are proponents, there's still fans of Kevin Stefanski that continue to want to say, oh, it's not Kevin Stefanski, it's not Andrew Berry. It's this is, you're just continuing to say the same damn thing, and you're in year 6 and things need to happen and they're not happening. And
I would just say beginning of the year, I was like, let's give it a chance. But at the end of this game, I looked at my son and he looked at me, and we just knew what each other was going to say is, this is going to be our reality until somebody else starts calling plays.
Correct.
Period.
So what about Tommy Rees now? So
now I'm happy to say that we're going to deal with Tommy Rees. That doesn't mean we're going to deal with anything better. Hopefully they've like cut him loose and let him do what his thing and run his game plan.
Yeah.
If not, then if he's still getting that same printout that says run this play on first down, this play on second down, like little robot guy, then it doesn't matter who's calling the plays. It's the same stupid plays. What you need is Tommy Rees being able to sit down, set up defenses, set up plays, make sure the running game is coordinated with the passing game, which it's not, and so that you can give the same look and run multiple things. I mean, the outside zone offense is a series offense. Okay, you know what a series offense is, Joe?
No, explain it to me.
Okay, a series offense is a throwback to like the wing T offense.
Okay,
and the idea behind it, the wing T, was we're going to line up in the same exact way, run the same backfield motion, but one of three different people will run the ball. So you can do the exact same blocking scheme, the exact same backfield motion, but one of three people can run the ball, which made it difficult for offenses to handle. Okay, so that each play, right, each zone, each backfield action and corresponding offensive line was a series, and they had them like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 series, up through the 900 series, right? But the idea is simply this blocking scheme has three options. Okay, so when a defense lines up and they see a blocking scheme, it can still hit one of three ways.
Yeah, I got you.
That's what it's supposed to be. So the outside zone scheme is supposed to be that.
Kind of like that.
You have the ball, you run the option, you run the scheme, you run the backfield motion, and the ball can hit in one of three spots: outside, off tackle, inside.
Yes.
But that's not what we do. We just run that play, right?
What about the execution? Like, that's where we started talking last night, that part of what we're seeing, and the part of the people that are defending Stefanski are saying, well, Dylan Gabriel isn't going through the process. Like, he's not executing everything.
Here's what I'm going to say to that.
Okay.
When you have, and I'm going to semi-continue my discussion from before, that outside zone should set up a series of passing plays off play action. So they run a play action in the outside zone.
Yeah.
Then you have the quarterback roll out, or you can have the quarterback step back, and there's a set of pass routes being ran off that exact same motion.
Okay.
But when you disconnect the passing game from the running game, you're already telling the defense what's coming. So you're making a game that's already hard that much harder for Dylan Gabriel. And I'm not saying he can succeed, but putting him in a position where the defense knows exactly what's happening because everything is completely transparent is not helpful to a rookie quarterback.
But the way you described it initially is that's the idea, is that you set it up the same way to then disguise it to make the defense try to figure out what you're going to do. But you're saying
exactly
the Browns aren't doing that because...
Oh, no. Kevin Stefanski is not doing this. He's just, okay, first down, we'll run outside zone. Second down, we'll just line everybody up wide, get into shotgun, and throw the pass. You know, why? Because shotgun has been proven that shotgun is the best statistically to give you yards on a pass play. So what they've done is they've gotten their spreadsheet out and said, shotgun works for passing, under center works for running.
Yeah.
So every time they're under center, they're pretty much just running the ball. And every time they're in shotgun, they're pretty much passing the ball.
Sure.
And so everybody knows what's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, if I know what's coming, then you know the players know what's coming.
Right. No, it really is. It's where we are at right now. And it's frustrating as hell. Talking to some of the different colleagues here in the Fanatic Elves, Steve Gill has this friend of his that works on the inside. Somehow he knows some of these things that are going on. The stories I'm hearing from him are suggesting, that this past two games and this game now with the Jets have been very important. And so the Browns really need to, Stefanski, now giving up the play calling to, like you said, Tommy Rees, we can talk about that here. Some people are saying that, is it a desperation move? Other people are saying was this always the case? Was like Lou Marconi was suggesting the other night when we were talking, was this always planned? Were the Browns with Stefanski, because of the schedule and knowing the difficulty of this early part of the games, would pass the baton eventually to Tommy Rees, and that this was the plan? Where do you fall with all that? Does it really matter? I mean, does it matter?
I don't really think it matters. I'm going to tell you this: is just as long as Stefanski's calling the plays, we're screwed.
Yeah.
So let's just hope Tommy Rees can do something better than what we're handling right now. You just hope that because he called plays at Alabama.
Yeah.
Right. And before that, he was at Notre Dame. He was a Notre Dame quarterback, and
yes,
so I'm familiar with Tommy Rees on that side of the situation.
Go Fighting Irish,
go Irish. So I actually got my Notre Dame helmet right there, baby.
Oh, there you go.
So, Tommy Rees can do it. He's called plays, so I'm not sure why you would need a ramp up period for Rees to call him in the NFL.
Okay,
I tend to think it's just Stefanski's ego. I want to believe that he just thinks that he can just outthink everybody.
That's what he always. That's the problem with a lot of people. Why people just hate the guy at this point is because he comes across as just like, I'm not going to answer that question, or I'm too smart for you. And then the other people that defend Stefanski all the time say, oh well, you have to let the process work out. And I'm thinking, this is the NFL. Like, anything can happen any year. I mean, you can go from being a crappy team one year to greatness the following year. It doesn't take this process. In the Browns case, it's been 6,000 years, it seems like, with Stefanski and this process.
Right, and when he was the offensive coordinator in Minnesota before becoming the Browns head coach, I mean, this is what he did. He just threw the ball, and Mike Zimmer would come off the sideline upset. We need to run the ball more. And it's the exact same crap we're looking at in Cleveland 6 years later. We don't run the football. We can sit back there in a shotgun and try to throw the ball all day and think like this is going to work. It's not. You have to have a dynamic understanding of the game. Well, it's like he's sitting outside like, can I think of this as if this is an academic program?
Yeah.
When it's not. It's an in-game process, which he's not good at. You have to figure out what the defense is doing to you and attack those weaknesses. And you have to change on the fly. And we do none of that. None.
I like that observation too, like attacking those other defenses. We don't see that. And it's been a criticism, and really it's honestly the real problem with Stefanski and why I get annoyed, because you're right. It's funny. There's this thing circulating on social media. Some other podcasters or radio program recently talked about the Browns. Did you see this? Trading. What if the Browns, the theory was, what if the Browns traded all of their draft picks, all of their number one draft picks for the next 10 years, and the Browns in turn took back the entire Kansas City Chiefs team? What would happen in Cleveland with that same team? I know it's crazy, but
I don't know, man. I think in some ways, all the way up to the NFL, football games are determined by who has the best players on the team.
Yeah.
Whoever has the best players, that's who's going to win. In the NFL, it just seems like whoever has the best quarterback is going to win. I mean, except in Cincinnati, because they have no defense.
No, they're 1-3, just like we were 1-3 with Joe Flacco. And even though Joe's throwing for 5,000 yards right now, they're still losing. So
yeah, they have no defense. I watched the end of that last game.
Yes.
I talked to my son.
Well, that's not just nuts, right? I watched the last 5 minutes of that too. I was just like, oh my God.
Oh my God. I looked at my son and I was like, this is what it was like growing up as a Bengals fan. And he was just laughing.
Right.
I was like, you watch this and you have to just understand something. The Browns are really not as bad as everyone says they are. Okay. Like, just watch this. This crap happens to teams every week in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, some team has a meltdown, some team just forgets how to tackle, some team, like, it is a common thing. Like, maybe we blow it up too much, but we're sitting right here watching the Bengals do the exact same crap the Browns do.
Yes.
Other teams do the exact same crap the Browns do. We're not as bad as people think we are.
It's always an interesting conversation, because I've had this conversation also earlier in the week with Lou, and then I had this conversation with Rod and his brother Jeff last night, because what you're just talking about. I tend to side with what you're saying, that, and Lou and I were talking about that, but it's funny because, Rod brought up, and some people bring up this idea like, well, when you go watch, or maybe it was his brother Jeff who brought it up, that when you watch other teams, like when you watch Buffalo and Kansas City, it's like watching a totally different experience. And I'm like, yes and no. These guys are still, the Browns are still an NFL football team.
Mm-hmm.
They have NFL talent. Mm-hmm. And so I agree with some of that assessment, because, you are seeing Patrick Mahomes and, Josh Allen, they've played each other multiple times. I don't think that the Browns are that different than, right? I mean, that's what you're kind of saying. I mean, it's
I
the
think
NFL.
what we're talking about, like, all the teams are within this of each other.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, they're not like, it's not like this. It's not like the Dodgers are out there beating up on the Padres every year or something. Which, yes. By the way, I'm a big Dodger fan. Go Dodgers! So
what a series that was!
Yeah, that oh my gosh! I stayed up till 1 o'clock that night watching that game. Like, oh, we're gonna lose. We're so stupid.
Yes.
We're the Cleveland Browns of baseball.
Dude, don't you feel bad a little bit for the Toronto Blue Jays fans? I mean, they were literally a centimeter from winning the World Series. I mean, that's, if the guy doesn't get down his spike on the home plate again, the Blue Jays win it.
Yeah, I will say this because it comes right back to our discussion, which is the Blue Jays did a lot of stupid stuff on the bases. Twice in that series, they got caught stealing because they thought it was ball 4 when it was a strike. And the guy coming from third to home was taking a short lead, had nobody holding him on, but he was 2 feet away from the base. If he's got a long lead,
good observation, like
a 5-step lead or a 6-step
he's
lead,
in there easy.
He scores easy and they win the World Series.
Wow. So, that's no one's talking about that.
Yeah, you
look
you
at that, Joel Cade. What the elf is that? We're talking baseball tonight too.
We're talking minutia of baseball, but the same is true in football, right? Like, if you don't do the little things well, you lose games.
Yeah,
and that is what separates a team like up here from a team down here. It's the teams that do things well that win games. Like Pittsburgh right now. Look at Pittsburgh. I don't think they're as good as they think they are,
for sure,
or even their record shows, but they do the little things well, right? So because they're always in the right place and they're always doing the right thing and they're always got good technique, they can hang in games that they should not be in, right? That's what the Browns need to become. We don't need to worry about like all this other stuff. I mean, the players try to mention this, like we got to control the things we can control, but unless you have somebody grinding on the details, this is what it looks like. And you have to have a coach that's going to say, we need to get all the details right.
Yeah.
Because if we can get all the details right, then we're going to be competitive no matter who's the quarterback. Part of the issue there is you have to have competent play calling to put these people in position, because you have defenses that are doing competent play calling, who are scouting you, who are preparing for you. And so you have to do your part to play the chess game back. But if you're sitting back and say third move of the game needs to be pawn to rook 2, and no matter what the opponent is playing, you're playing pawn to rook 2, then you're screwed. Like, you can't play chess like that. You play chess against an opponent. Right? You can't, and this is why I say, like, way at the beginning of the podcast, it's like somebody printed up a bunch of plays, like this is the best first down play in the league. This is the second best first down play in the league. And you're just running the play on first down because it's the best play that statistically is out there, with no context in terms of like, okay, the defense is stacking the box because they know we're running the ball in the first play.
Yeah. No, your points are extremely valid. Let me ask you this, Myles Garrett. I know you love Myles so much.
That boy sure can. He got to be the stupidest son of a bitch alive, but he sure can play football.
Now, did you know he had 5 sacks? You knew that already, but now
he can play football.
Derek Thomas. We looked this up last night in the other show that Derek Thomas in 2 consecutive games had 9 sacks. Wow. He had 7 in one game, 2 in the other. And so we were contemplating, if he goes up against Justin Fields, he once had 4.5 sacks against Justin Fields in a game against the Chicago Bears. Potentially, that could happen again. How do you feel anything for Myles Garrett? The big guy who's wanted to be traded out of Cleveland, and now he's kind of stuck here. We had a lot of people talking about how he was showing his anger and frustration when he was taken out of the game late. What do you feel about all of that?
Myles Garrett can take his frustrations to the bank, but I can't. So that's the difference between Myles Garrett and I. I'm frustrated with my job. I can't go to the bank with it. Yeah. But he can. He can get in his Porsche or whatever he drives.
Sure.
Maybe roll it 5 or 6 times on the way to the bank, and then go get his money and go do what he wants to do. I mean, Myles Garrett can play football. He's a great football player. I just watch in awe. We will never see a player like this again, period.
Yeah.
He can take over games. It's ridiculous. But, man, he opens his mouth, and it's like, why?
Right?
Why are you opening your mouth? So I don't feel bad for him. He's getting paid to do his job. I think what he's frustrated is that nobody else around him is doing his job. And by that, I don't mean the players. Yeah. I mean his head coach, and I mean his offensive coordinator, and I mean some wide receivers who need to catch some footballs, which is
Jerry Jeudy.
This is why people need to block. Offensive tackle is awful, right? That Cam Robinson guy, why is he out there? Why is he out there?
Some people really like him.
His head is on a swivel, and not in a good way. Oh, there he goes this way. There he goes that way. Why is he on the field? Just put a warm body out there would be better than Cam Robinson.
No, I hear you. I don't know.
I was saying we got 2 first-round picks next year. We need to draft a left tackle and a right tackle, or we're just there's no chance. It'll look like this next year.
What do you think about the whole Jets thing yesterday and the trade deadlines? Some people are trying to say, "Oh, they're so much smarter than the Browns, and they got a steal with getting these extra draft picks. Now they've jumped ahead of Cleveland in the upcoming drafts." They're the Jets, Joel. The Jets are stupid.
I'm gonna just channel my inner Herm Edwards here. You play to win the game, okay? The Jets are playing to lose the game.
Yes.
That's why you trade away all those people. The Browns are still playing to win the game. And I don't care how many draft picks you get, you still have to hit on them. And 2, the idea that if you have a bunch of higher draft picks will get you better players is a straight myth.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got an article. It's actually sitting right over there on the idea from this guy named Cade Massey. It was about the myth of the loser's curse. Basically, the teams that lose end up not drafting well because they're drafting out of need, or they're drafting players that they think are going to be better when they're just as pretty much on the same quality as the 16th or 17th or 18th player picked. So it really makes no rational difference if you're picking second or if you're picking 15th based on, is this going to be a good player to work and fit into your system? So good for the Jets. They're tanking. At least they're just being honest about it. But depends on what your expectations are for the Browns. I tweeted out after doing this, the Jets are better at tanking than the Browns are at tanking. But are the Browns purposely trying to tank? That's the question. And I don't think they are. I think they legitimately think they're trying to win football games. And why not? Look at the division. The Bengals are faltering. The Steelers are a real team that can be beaten. The Ravens may come back with Lamar Jackson, but Derrick Henry is straight garbage. I mean, when you got the Browns safety saying, "I'm going to go bust this dude," and then he's like, "I'm going to show him a lesson," and then our guy busts him and puts him in his place. Derrick Henry is done. They overpaid for him for way too long. He's done. So without Lamar Jackson running that offense, there's nothing going on in Baltimore. And I've been saying for years, there's going to come a point where that guy is going to start getting hurt.
Yeah.
The way he plays. And I
think
we're there. I think we're there. He's probably going to get hurt again.
Okay. So do you see the Ratbirds winning this division?
They're probably going to win the division as long as Lamar Jackson is healthy.
Okay.
Will they get anywhere?
Yeah.
They may win a playoff game. I don't see them beating Kansas City or Buffalo with a one-dimensional running game, which is Lamar Jackson. I just don't see them doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the league was 5 years ago where you could sneak up on a team like Lamar Jackson could sneak up on a team because they haven't seen him play. Yeah. So therefore you lose that first game because you're like, oh my gosh, he's so fast. Every team has seen Lamar Jackson. What are you going to do?
Quick question. Should we pause for a break? And then I had a question about Stefanski. Again.
Sure. Let's pause for our station identification. Actually, just buy all the things that people are going to try to sell you. All right, here we go. All right, we're back. You're listening to What the Elf Was That? With me, Joel Cade, and John, the man, Suchan. All right, John, you had a question about
Kevin. I just wanted you to I want to go back to Stefanski because what is hindering, in your opinion, his ability to be, this great coach? Because people like to come back and say, oh, he was coach of the year. And, just got to give him a time. We got to give him his quarterback. You got to let him do his thing. What's hindering his ability to be a better coach? Because you and I both don't think he's that good of a coach. What's hindering that?
I think
is he just not good of a coach?
I think he's just getting in his own way.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say he's not a good coach. I think he's a cerebral coach, and I think he's in an environment where like everyone is cerebral. And when you go out there and you surround yourself with people that are just like you, like Barry and
the other guy,
Paul DePodesta, right? When you go out and get 3 of the exact same people in your front office, that's not helpful. You need to get like a fiery football dude in one of those spots.
Right.
Period. Right. And so there needs to be some friction and there needs to be some exchange of ideas.
Friction is good. Friction is good.
If DePodesta can sit there and say, run these plays on first down and it goes straight through Barry right to Stefanski, then that's an issue. But even when he was back in Minnesota, I mean, before he got hired, I went and watched all the games that he was the offensive coordinator on.
Yes.
He calls a game like it's an abstract theoretical problem, right? First down, we run this. Second down, we run that. Third and long, we're going to run this play because this play works on third and long. And never have I seen him just say, okay, here's what the defense is doing. Here's what I'm going to do to it.
Yeah.
Never once have I seen that go on.
No, it's an excellent observation. I think it's something that people don't talk about enough with why he's not successful. Now, some people will say, oh, he's been successful. Yeah, he's had a couple winning records and they've gone to the playoffs, and I'll give him some credit for that. But far too many times, even in those winning seasons, he should have won more games because of what you're coming back to, what you're talking about. He doesn't have that ability to do what some of the great coaches can do, which is think on the fly and adjust and adapt to the scenario that's sitting in front of you. And, people say, well, those are real football guys. And, maybe we need a real football guy.
You need to be able to identify what the defense is doing to you and attack it. And I'm not sure that's what he's doing. I think he's just kind of like, this is what we're doing, like, third down, we're calling this play. It's as if there's no context around him as to what the defense is doing. It's ridiculous. I mean, you can almost say that the talent. I'll tell you this, I could almost write out for you his exact play sheet by the end of the game.
Yeah.
Right. I could probably, maybe next game, that's what I'll do. I'll just write out the entire play sheet that he's got in front of him just based on what he's called in certain situations. It's really not that hard.
Because you can see when you're watching these games, and I don't watch it like you do sometimes. I know you're watching the actual, the design of the plays, the schemes of the plays, and that you can actually predict pretty much because you've watched Stefanski and what he's called over the years, what he's going to probably do next, right?
It's not hard.
Yeah,
I think Mike Vrabel had it right. Once we got through the gadget plays, because he'll come up with 4 or 5 plays that are like, I've never seen that one before.
The fact that
once you get past that, it's over.
The fact that Vrabel was with this organization a year ago And he's the one who comes out with this little side comment about these cute gimmicky plays. Did you find that interesting? I find it interesting because he was here within the organization. Is there, some? There's.
Here's what I found interesting. You had him on the roster last year, and he's like working with tight ends and offensive linemen, right? He's working with tight ends.
Yeah.
Then clearly the offensive line coach was garbage because he was the one working with offensive linemen. And this guy's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Like he went to Ohio State and played defense. His thing is defense. Mm-hmm. And he's working with offensive linemen, right? And he's just sitting there like, what are you doing with him? Like, have him motivate your players. Have him be a part of the defensive game plan. Have him be a part of the offensive game plan.
Yes.
Do something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, make him assistant head coach, right? And have him help you with the administrative duties of being a head coach, which I think Stefanski needs to, like, focus on that because he's good at that. He's good at, like, being an administrator. So go be an administrator.
That's exactly. It's funny because when you watch him in the interactions from the locker room, and some people say, oh, he hasn't lost the locker room. No, I'm not saying necessarily he's lost the locker room, but he's so robotic and so sophisticated and all these things like in management. I agree with you. He comes across much more like he and Andrew Berry could both be GMs. Bring in another coach and let Stefanski be a GM, for God's sakes. That's what you're getting at, really.
I keep waiting for the day that Stefanski goes out in a suit and tie on the sideline, like the coaches used to, because that's like,
Paul Brown, all the greats, sure.
That would totally fit his way of like, I'm here to do business, right?
Tom Landry, you should get
I'm here for hat, get a hat, get a bowler hat or something, man. Like, he's got to be stylish about it. So
the funny thing is, see, this is interesting because Kevin Smith, who works with the Fans First group in Pittsburgh, he has talked to Stefanski personally and has invited him and has been at when Kevin is a high school coach in New Jersey and and Stefanski's from that area and has come to several high school practices of his over the years. So he's had a chance to interview him. So it's interesting to listen to him on that level because he's not in front of all the cameras. I don't know if you've caught any of those interviews between Kevin and Kevin Stefanski, but he's like you said already, he's very analytical. I think you're onto something there. Maybe Kevin should just go into management next.
Yeah. I mean, he could, like, NFL coaches are like team management anyway, right? But he's not coaching.
Who would be a good coach to bring in the Cleveland right now? If you got rid of Stefanski, who would be out there?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I would be intrigued with just I can see his face, our defensive coordinator. I would just elevate him.
Schwartz?
I'd just make Schwartz the head coach because I think that's what you need is that kind of like we're a football team kind of player, coach, someone who's a football coach, right? Then you can bring somebody in to call the defense. You can bring somebody in to run the offense. What you need is somebody to set the culture, right? Because I think that's what your head coach is going to do is set the culture. And I think this is why a lot of football, like people on the team, my iPhone is ringing. My work phone. It's okay.
Okay.
I'm off work, but he sets the tone like it's a business club, right? We're here for like to take care of like we're analytically doing this as analysts and whatever. So the players who aren't that, they're out there like, I'm a player. They just can't relate to him. Like
I've been saying that for a while now. I get in these discussions like with Steve Gill. We talk about like, well, I think maybe he's lost the locker room. And he's like, no, he hasn't lost the locker room. Maybe he hasn't lost the locker room. But like to your point, these players, the relatability to their coach it's not as strong as it is when you see these other situations. And these people that keep defending Stefanski say, well, we don't care about those other teams. Well, pay attention to these other teams because these other teams who are winning and successful have coaches that are in tune with their players, and that makes a difference, man. It makes a difference toward winning. And right now, we're not winning.
I think Stefanski and I can't think of his name down in Miami. They're like a part of that, like the computer geek turned head football coach era, right? You would think by looking at them that they're going to be sitting behind a computer, like writing coding.
Yeah.
Before they're coaching a football team. Like, they're going to come out with this capris and crap. All right, we're going to end on one story. Yes. Okay. Did you see that kicker from Oklahoma?
Oh, thoughts on that, Joel? I got to hear what you got to say here. I'm anxious to hear this.
Did you see this? Now, those of you who don't know
what I'm referencing,
this is the Kirk Herbstreit, like, he splits the uprights wearing Daisy Dukes situation, right? He's got the shorts. Apparently, the story is every time he kicks a field goal, he cuts his pants up another layer or level or something. So now they're basically halfway up his thigh. Now, a football uniform consists of thigh pads and knee pads. That is a football uniform. So if you are a football player, you're thinking, I'm going to play football, you're going to put on a pair of pants, not shorts, pants with knee pads and thigh pads to protect your knees and your thighs when you're actually playing the game of football. Are you looking for this picture?
I am. I'm fine. I got it.
If you can find it and throw it up, put it right up there, and I'll just talk right over it. Okay.
There you go.
Halfway up his thigh, right? So there's no thigh pads, there's no knee pads, there's no hip pads, there's no butt pad. He's barely got shoulder pads on. And why is he wearing a helmet anyway, right? So this is what I talk about. When I hate kickers, this is exactly the crap I'm talking about. Okay. Does he look like somebody who's getting ready to play a football game?
No, he does
not. He looks like he's some dude that just came off the soccer team, is going to kick the ball.
Yeah, he was probably there at game day for ESPN, and now he got the winning kick, so now they put him in a uniform.
Right. So he doesn't look like he's prepared. Like if he had to tackle somebody, this dude was screwed. He's not tackling anybody. He's not making a football play other than kicking a ball. So my point is this. Why should I, as an analyst or as an actual former football player, take him seriously? Mainly because he does not take himself seriously as a football player. He is not dressed or prepared to do anything that is remotely related.
Should he be more upset with the Oklahoma coaches and that whole spiel?
Well, I mean, I think
let him out there on the field like that. I mean, that is completely embarrassing. And
I think the SEC should fine the Oklahoma Sooners for
just get rid of the whole program. Get rid of Oklahoma Sooners. We don't need you.
Keep the program. But we need to fine the Sooners.
It's embarrassing the Sooner football. I'm sorry. I know a lot of Sooner fans over the years living out in Kansas. And I'm telling you right now, there are a lot of Sooner fans that are pretty pissed off right now. Seeing if they're any Sooner fans watching this image, this goes against every grain of what you are as a Oklahoma Sooner football fan.
It's a joke. The kicker is a joke. Like, I'm not even talking about his ability to kick. I'm just talking about his respect for the game of football is on display in this picture. He does not consider himself a football player. He does not dress to play a football game, and he does not consider what he's doing as meaningful football, or he would have dressed for it. And if he can't take himself seriously, why should I take him seriously?
The Browns are going to draft him next year.
Probably, and he'll come out looking like that. And then Stefanski will come out with, statistically, if people who wear shorts make more field goals than people who wear football pants. It'll be something.
Now, I'm credentialed to go to some of the games coming up at the end of the month with Northeast Ohio Sports Insider. So I'm anxious to listen to Tony Grossi and Mary Kay. Did you know that I stood right next to Tony Grossi? Fantastic moment. I thought of you, Joel, because of how you feel about both Joel and about Tony and Mary Kay.
Hey, I'm okay with Mary Kay. Tony is anyway. He's one of those guys that I think Shedeur Sanders correctly called out and said, right? What have I done?
What do you think about before you leave? Quick question about Shedeur. Where are you at with the whole Shedeur thing? Because a lot of people want to see him play. Do you think the Browns are conspiracy guys and they're keeping him out because of his name, or where are you at with that?
I'll just say this. When I played and coached football, every coach in that room understood that their job relied on winning football games. So they didn't care if you were black, white, purple, yellow, orange, or from Mars. Yeah. If you could help them win a football game, you were getting on the field. Mm-hmm. So if if, I'm going to say this very clearly, if there is some shenanigans going on with Shedeur Sanders, whoever has decided to keep the better football player off the field needs to be fired immediately because they have put themselves and their own ego over the game.
Is it Stefanski?
I don't know. I don't know who's doing what in there. I don't pretend to be an insider whatsoever. But if somebody is sidelining him because of some other reason than winning football games, that person should be fired.
Yeah. Period. Well, that's where the conversation is right now. But at the same time, there's others who, we talked about this last night in the other show that, the Browns may be actually doing Shedeur a favor in kind of developing him. But then the question is, who have the Browns developed at quarterback over the last 30 years?
I tend to I shouldn't say this all out loud, particularly live on our podcast. My hope.
What the elf was that?
My hope. Oh, we're beyond what the elf was that.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
My hope is that they fire Stefanski.
Yes.
And they bring in somebody who understands offense.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly. And I say that because if Shedeur is half as good as he looked like in college and you can develop him, you need somebody that can develop him. And putting him out there in a disconnected offense that doesn't work together, that doesn't work, period, you're almost doing him a favor keeping him on the bench as opposed to taking that beating because he's going to take a beating. Just like Dylan Gabriel's taking a beating because you're not helping him in any way, shape, or form by tricking the people on the field to thinking something else is happening or having them anticipate something else happening to give you free open receivers running down the field. So if you're not going to help your quarterback, you might as well have somebody like Joe Flacco standing back there and just taking a beating while you let these other kids, I don't know, twiddle their thumbs on the sidelines. Okay. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, no, I like it. Okay.
Just I would like to see somebody who understands offense run the offense.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens Sunday. See what happens on Sunday.
All right, everybody. I appreciate everybody checking us out. And John, thank you for being here. And I apologize for my absence because clearly I had a lot to say.
We love Joel K. and we love What the Elf Was That? It's the greatest title of any Browns podcast ever.
What the Elf Was That?
Thank you for listening to the What the Elf Was That podcast. Please like, subscribe, and tell all your friends to give a listen. You can follow host Joel Cade on Twitter @The Left Guard.